Okay, so as you know, there is a putting add-on for the Garmin R10 and using GSPRO. Now, when this first came out, I tried it and it kicked my ass and I couldn't figure out how to make it work, so I finally just gave up on it. And there was other people that I told that I couldn't get it to work, so don't even try. Well, I know more now than I used to, so now I've learned how it actually works, and it does work really well. So, first thing I want to do is I'm going to start up a new version of the ball tracking app, and then we're going to set the ball up to find, set the camera up to find the ball, and go through the whole process and use it and test it and all that. Now over here I have just a stand, just a regular tripod stand with the camera mounted to the top of it, pointing down at about 45 degrees. I've gotten it to work this way more often than when I've tried farther away positions with the camera, and I'll show you why here in a second. But so far, here's we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to come in here, and this is a new version that I just extracted. So I'm going to open up the ball tracking. Okay, so I have my camera here, and you can see it looks horrible. Now, the reason why it looks so horrible is because this is a high-speed camera, and I got to adjust some of the settings in there. So first thing we're going to do is get our ball. Now, the reason why a colored ball works better than a white ball, in my opinion anyway, is that the software is looking for a certain color that you set the software to. For example, if you do want to make it white, you can set it for white, but the issue comes that when you have light hitting anything, any kind of white light that hits something, if it gets a glare, it's going to look white. Well, that can throw off what the camera is looking for and what the software is looking for, because it's looking for a white ball, but if the light hits just right somewhere on the turf, it may look white, and that may kind of make it hard to find the ball or whatever. But if you use a colored golf ball, the same thing is happening, except the light's not going to make like if you use a red golf ball, for example, the light hitting the green turf isn't really going to look red. That's not going to happen. It's not one of the colors that, in the spectrum that make its way through. So I'm going to grab a red golf ball. So this is just a red, you can see it's pretty bright actually. It's a Bridgestone E12 soft that I found in the woods. So we're going to set the ball down to where we want to putt. So I'm going to set it down right here. We're going to say that's where I want to putt from, and then we'll move it back a little bit right there. Okay, as you can see, you can't hardly see anything on this camera. So what I'm going to do is push A, like alpha, and we're going to bring up these settings here. We're going to bring this to the front. Now, the other thing that we're going to pull up is D. The letter D is in dog, but you got to click on the image over here first, D. Now, this is called the mask frame. Now, what that does is this is showing you what the computer is looking for when it comes to the color that you choose, which before I always said, why didn't they make this? That would be so much easier. Then I found out they did. So that's on me. So first things first is we're going to fix our lighting here to make this a little bit brighter, look a little bit better. So I'm going to move the gain, and then I'm going to move white balance and see if that helps it out a little bit. Not really much. Try the brightness. Okay, the brightness is helping out a good bit. Contrast, we'll leave that alone for right now. Let's try sharpness. Not really doing a whole lot. Saturation, going to leave that alone. Backlit composition, that might do a little bit of something. But what we're going to do is, once we get that camera looking a little bit better, and this camera does not look good, but every other camera I've ever worked with looks a lot better than this one, but for some reason this one looks like this. I think it's because of the high frame rate. But what you want to do is you're going to come here to the hue min, which is on the track bar here. And we're going to move the hue min up a little bit. And what we're going to keep looking at is in this area up here, you're looking for a little bit of movement of white, a little bit of sign of white. So if we move this up, there we go. All right, so I moved the max hue to 33 and the min to 18. Now I'm going to explain what that means. What that means is every color on the spectrum, let's say, imagine you give it a number. So like, let's say white is 0 and red is 40 or whatever. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but it doesn't really matter in this case. If you do want to look them up, you can divide it by 2 to get the actual number, but none of that really matters. So when the camera is looking for the golf ball, it's going to be looking for a color that you set on the low end and the high end. And it's saying anything in here is acceptable as a golf ball. So what we want to do is basically make this mask image be completely black with only showing the golf ball being white. Now, it's not actually white, but that's how the computer's seeing it. So that's how you have to think of it. So first thing I guess I want to do is actually move my hitting area to match where I'm actually going to be hitting from. So that's done on this advanced settings here. Move this down, and we're going to move the X, Y, start and end. So I'm going to put this about here, move this about here, move this down, and move it to about there. Now, I find the littler area you have, the better. So if you can mark it with something to know where your area is, you're going to have a better, easier time for it to find the ball. Now we're going to just minimize this for a second. So as you can see here, it looks pretty good with our mask frame. We have all black with the little white there for the ball. Now we're going to play with these options in here to try to see if we can make it even better. But that's pretty good though. So we're going to, okay, so that's getting way better because you can see now we have a bigger golf ball. So the max hue of 50 is pretty good. So we're going to move that to 49. In the min, we're going to, so see when we go more to the right, we start losing some of the inside of the ball. That's from the glare of the light. So we're going to move this down and try to get this to be as much of a circle as we can get it to. I'm going to make it a little bit choppier, but then I'm going to change some of these other things here. See how that makes it worse when we go to the left? We end up getting all this white coming in. That's going to make it hard to find the ball. So we're going to move that to the right and make all that extra whiteness around it go away. And this is probably going to do the same thing, except this gets rid of the middle of the ball. You can see how it starts to turn black. We don't want that. We want that all white. And this Val Min, does it do anything? A little bit. Kind of sharpens the corners, the edges a little bit, so that's pretty good. Okay. Now there's another field underneath of this that doesn't show up on my computer, but it's called Val Max, which is if you hit this full, it's right here, it says Val Max. Now whether it does anything, I have no clue. Let's see. I'll move it down. Okay, yeah, so it looks like we get rid of the middle of that, and we don't want that. So let's move this back up to where it was. Okay, so now we have this white ball on this all black background, but we're using a red ball. But when I say white, I mean the masking of it is white. So I'll come in here and I'm going to move the ball, make sure it finds it. Find the ball. There you go. See, found the ball. All right, I'm just going to give it a putt. I'm going to pull this I'm going to pull it to the left so we can see the line that it makes. So we can see that it read it there, 8 degrees to the left. Blah, blah, blah. It's working. Okay. Now, we'll put the ball back. Now I'm going to show you, so we have a white ball as well. So I'm going to set this one in here. So we can see that we have a all white circle, but I'm also going to put a white ball and we'll see what happens. Okay, see how the white ball is not really showing up? So I'm going to switch the colors of everything and make the white ball show up this time. So we're going to get rid of the red ball. And we're going to go into our settings here. Get rid of that, sorry. Go into the track bar. Minimize this. Now we can see that little white ring. So basically what we're trying to do is to make that white ring bigger. So we're going to move the hue down because I know that white is a minimum of like 1, super low. And then we're going to move this down because it's not going to be in the other colors. So we're going to move that down. Now we'll mess with this brightness some and see if it changes it. Yes, it does. It definitely makes it a little bit more bright there. And then this contrast. Contrast is going to make us bigger. Okay, but see how we move the contrast up, we start getting some of that flashing of the white on the far right. So I'm going to move the contrast back down a little bit. And move this gamma a little bit and see if that moves anything. Not really. Just put it in the middle, I guess. And then we'll move these over here. And this is where I probably we'll see the biggest change right there. See? Okay, so see how we start to get all this other stuff showing up when we move that Satch Min to 202? So we definitely want to move that up till all that flashing goes away. And then the Satch Max would probably have to be higher than that for it to even show up. So, you know, anywhere in there seems fine. Now this Val Min, no idea what the hell it stands for, but if it makes it look better, we'll go with it. Good. And I think we can probably mess with some of this here, this white balance, to make this ball a little bit bigger. Let's see, so that makes it smaller. That's a little better. It's not great. Let's try the backlit. Not really changing much. And now let's try to hit a ball off of it and see what we get. I'm going to move it first. Okay, so it reads it just fine. And again, I'm going to pull it to the left so we can see the line that it takes. And there we go. We get our reading. So that's how this works. So let me see. I'm going to do an orange ball now. So this is an orange ball, but it is a foam ball. But for the purpose of the setup, it's not going to matter. So I'm going to set it in the middle there. As we can see, we're not getting any really color on our screen there. So what we want to do is we want to move our max up, right to there. Looks good. And then our min, we're going to move it to where the ball's all white. All right, let's try it again. Like I said, this is a foam ball, so it's not going to putt very good, but it doesn't matter. There we go. We get our shot. Now, let's put all this into GSPRO. So we're going to apply this. We're going to X out of that. X out of... yeah. Let me go in here and change the color one more time. Sorry. I'm going to go back to the red ball. So when I go to putt, I can actually putt because the foam ball doesn't roll right. So we'll put it in there. And actually that bright red ball is kind of picking up some, but we can make it better. So do this. Remember, we want our, I don't really need, well, we'll need that in a minute. I'll show you why. We're going to do our D and make sure that orange and or that color there is as good as we can get it. Well, we don't want to go that high. See how we're pulling up stuff over here when we take this hue max up higher? We don't want that. We want to bring this down and bring that up some. All right, let's just do a, oh, nope, sorry. We want that ball to be white again, so we got to move that down. See how we're getting all these readings? We don't want that. We got to get rid of all that extra stuff there. Okay, so now let's move the ball. Make sure we get a reading. Whoops, go this way. We got our ball. Let's do a little shot. Okay, good. Good. So we have all that working decently enough. Let's put it back and just do one more check. Okay, sees the ball just fine. I'm going to change this just a little bit to see if it fixes any of our stuff here. So we're still seeing a pretty good size white ball. That's bad. Don't want that. Definitely don't want to change the hue. I didn't mean to do that. Saturation, that gives us a little bit of a better ball image. So we're going to move that up a little bit. And gamma, not much. And we're going to leave all that alone because I think we're pretty good right there. So we're going to hit apply. Okay. And I'm going to check this Sat Max. I don't think it's going to move, but we're good. Okay. So X out of all this. Now we're going to grab a version of the Garmin adapter, which would be, let's see, right here's one. So we're going to open this up and go into the settings. Come down here, we're going to make sure putting is turned to true. If it says false, we're going to type true there and leave all the rest of this the same. Shouldn't have to change anything else. I may end up having to change that webcam to 0 because I think last time I messed with this, I had 2 cameras going, but we'll see. If that happens, I'll fix it at the time. Actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and make it 0 now. And we'll save that. Make sure you save it and then X out of it. All right, so now we're going to pull up GSPRO. Got the Garmin turned on back here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to practice, on-course practice, and you're going to look for the, what's it called? Practice facility. Yeah. Practice facility and hit play. And while that's loading up, hit the tab key or the Windows key on your keyboard to open up your taskbar. And we're going to open up the adapter here. And let's get this thing started. Hopefully the camera pops right up. It should, being set to 0. Like I said, it was at 1, but I was messing with it yesterday. So this should all be good. Good. Okay, so once you're on here, see we have a 5-foot putt. That's a pretty good distance, I find, to practice this in. That way you can get your distances as close as possible. Okay, so I got GSPRO pulled up. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get that file that I just created, or that folder that I just created of the putting, this ball tracking right here. Open this up, and we're going to drag that inside of our app here with our GSPRO R10 adapter. So we should have 3 files in here. We have the ball tracking, and then if you click on the ball tracking, you should see all the files that are in it. So make sure there's not another folder in there. And then we have the GSPRO actual exe file. So we're going to open that up. That's going to connect our GSPRO to our Garmin. Minimize that. Minimize this. Now inside of here, so we have like a 5-foot putt. I think that's what this is set to. Yeah, 5'3", 5'1", whatever. And we're going to hit U on the keyboard. U will bring up putting, and this will automatically happen when you are inside of the game and you get on the green and you switch to putting. It'll automatically do this, and it'll pull this window up. I highly recommend using the window because it's going to let you see that it actually found the golf ball. So if the red dot's not there, you don't want to hit it. So now we're going to calibrate the ball to work inside of GSPRO to feel as close as possible to real. So I have a 5-foot putt. I'm going to try to hit this like 3 to 4 feet, and we should have a foot putt left. That way we know that it's working right, which 4 foot to me would be about the end of this black over here. Okay. So you can see I hit it probably 3 feet, and the ball only went maybe 1.5 feet or 2 foot, which is no problem. We're going to click on the app here and click A. We don't need any of this settings, but what we do need is this radius. So we need to move this radius up. So we're going to go to 5 this time and see what happens. Put our ball back. Little putt. Okay, that was a lot better. And I do want to show you one more thing too before I go back into this. Let me check one more thing. So when you go into GSPRO, if you go to settings, you see this horizontal launch correction right here? That's going to make you putt straight every time, roughly straight. So if you can see, I pulled that hard to the left on purpose because I wanted to see it move to the left inside of the game, and it didn't. It went kind of straight. Well, it went kind of straight because of the horizontal launch angle correction. So you want to make sure that's not checked. Hit save. Now let's try that again. Nope, there we go. Oops, shoot, keep moving the ball. Got it. Okay. Now I'm going to push this to the right. You can see we missed it to the right, and that ball went a little too far. So what I'm going to do is go back in here, push A again. And A is going to give me this advanced settings, and we're going to move this radius down to 4. And we'll try it again. That wasn't too bad. That was a hair hard, but let's move the putt to make it a little bit longer to see if we get something that feels right. So we have a 21-foot putt now. Okay. Gonna go ahead and move it a little bit more. Let's see. We'll go down to 3, and I'm gonna move our putting to a little closer. We're gonna go 10 foot. Let's do, actually, you know what? We're gonna come in here to a 3-foot putt. Okay. So we see that took off, went way too far. So let's fix that. Go to 4. I thought I had it at 4 already. Might have moved it. And we'll try it again. Okay. Tad hard. Go back to 5. 5 might be our number. Okay, that felt pretty good. So now let's move that back. I'm going to X out of that, and we're going to move this to a little bit of a longer putt, something to see if we get that feeling down right. So we have a 7-foot putt now. So 7 foot for me should be about to that white golf ball right there. You can't, yeah, you can kind of see it. So I'm going to putt to that white golf ball and see what kind of shot we got here on the screen. I missed it left, and it went a little long, but stimp is going to come into play with that too. So if I come in here, settings, and I change the stimp, right now it's at 10, I can probably move that to 9 or 8 and have something a little bit more realistic. Okay. Ooh, pushed it right. It got it pretty straight though. Try it one more time. I'm going to try to leave this one short on purpose. Cool. All right. I would say that's pretty much nailed it. So now let's go over and play one hole inside of GSPRO with the putting turned on. So the Garmin's on. Now I am running the Roxer version of the Garmin R10 interface, which what that does is it's a version that I came up with that has a more increased side spin and spin axis. So one of my testing things that I found was that the Garmin just doesn't curve as much as it should, for me anyway, and a lot of other people said the same thing. So the Garmin is now modified with the data that it sends into GSPRO with a little tweak that gives you more curvature. And I'll show you here in a second what that looks like. So here we go. So this is only 300 yards. So I'm going to hit a big slice. I'm going to aim over here to the left, though, so I actually end up in the fairway. But I'm going to hit a big slice with a hybrid here so you can see kind of how much this ball curves. I hit that really low on the screen. Let's do that again. That was it, though, but I just hit it really bad. I think that ball's broke. Yeah, as you can see that big slice there. That ball sounded weird. Something sounded weird. All right, I'm not using that ball anymore. Okay, so we're 168. I'll do a big hook this time. Well, shouldn't say big hook. That wasn't a big hook. I can make it hook more, I guess, but I was in the rough, so it's going to take a little bit of that off. But, all right, let's flop it up there. Great, here we go. We get to try putting. So now when we get to the screen where we're getting ready to putt, we get the window pop back up, which is perfect. We put our ball in our spot. We got it found. And you can tell we somewhat have a straight putt of 9 feet. Well, I just hit 7 feet, so we have an idea where 9 foot is. Oh! But as you can see, that was really good. Let me do it again. This is the tiny putt here. There we go. Let's play one more just for fun. Let me check this to make sure this is good. Good. Good there. Okay, so we have 307. Let's do a here. I'll show you the hook. So we'll do a driver. There we go. Definitely more of one, and I hit it really toey too. So that's good. All right, 155. Okay. Let's plop this up there. Oh, it's too short. I knew it was too short. Ooh. Okay. Like a 2-foot putt, 3-foot putt. There we go. All right, so that is how to set up the putting with GSPRO.